Take a look at these two sentences. Él es bueno. Él está bueno. Both of them literally translate into English as he is good. And both of them are completely correct in Spanish. But here's the thing, they don't mean the same thing. Él es bueno means he's a good person. And él está bueno means he's attractive, as in he's good looking. Now that's not a slight difference in nuance. That's a word completely changing its meaning depending on whether you pair it with ser or estar. Now, bueno isn't the only adjective that does this. There's a whole group of Spanish adjectives that when they're paired with ser or estar, they produce completely different meanings. And in this video, we're going to go through some of them one by one. Now, to start off with, we're going to take a closer look at the adjective bueno, as there's another meaning besides attractive that I want to show you when we pair it with estar. So when we pair bueno with ser to say es bueno, this is describing someone's character, like who they are as a person. For example, mi abuelo es bueno. My grandfather is a good man. But when we pair bueno with estar to say está bueno, the meaning completely changes. This time it's all about a person's physical appearance. You're saying that this is someone that's attractive or good looking. And really, you need to be careful with this one because it has sexual connotations. It's more something that you'd say between friends, as it really has the meaning of someone being sexy. For example, ese actor está muy bueno. That actor is really good looking, or that actor is really sexy. But that's not all. If we pair bueno with estar and we're talking about food, it means that the food tastes good. For example, if someone handed you a plate of food and you had a bite, you might say, está bueno. This is good, or this is tasty. So with the verb ser, bueno is about someone's character. And with the verb estar, bueno is about how someone looks or how something tastes. For our next adjective, we're looking at the opposite of bueno, which is malo. And be careful because it's not just a case of having the opposite meaning. If we paired malo with ser and said es malo, this would be talking about someone's character. We're saying that someone is a bad person by nature. For example, ese dictador es malo. That dictator is a bad person, or that dictator is evil. But if we pair malo with estar to say está malo, this means that someone is unwell. Mi hijo está malo hoy. My son is unwell today. Now, this is more something that you'd hear in Spain rather than Latin America. In Latin America, it's more common to hear está mal or está enfermo when saying someone is sick. So then, with ser, malo is about someone's personality or character. And with estar, malo is about being ill. As you can imagine, this one comes up a real lot in everyday conversation, so it's well worth memorizing. Now, the next adjective is listo, and this is one of the best examples on the list. Now, by the way, all of the information from today's video, plus an extensive list of adjectives that change their definition with ser and estar, is available in a free PDF that you can download. The link is down in the description. Now, when we pair listo with ser to say es listo, it means that someone is clever. For example, esa niña es muy lista. That girl is very clever. Now, notice how the word listo, ending in an O, changes to lista, ending with an A in that sentence, because it's describing the feminine noun niña. Most of the time, when an adjective ends in O, it has two forms, one for masculine and one for feminine. You have to change the adjective so that it matches the gender of the noun that it's describing. Now, if we pair listo with estar to say está listo, it means someone or something is ready. For example, ¿Está listo? El taxi ya está aquí. Is he ready? The taxi is already here. So with ser, listo is about intelligence. And with estar, listo is about being ready. This is probably one of the most well-known examples of how an adjective changes meaning depending on whether it's paired with ser or estar. The two meanings have nothing to do with each other, which really shows how different ser and estar can be. Now the next one up is the adjective verde. When verde is paired with ser, the meaning is nice and straightforward. Es verde means something is the color green. For example, la hierba es verde. The grass is green. But when we pair estar with verde to say está verde, it means that a piece of fruit is unripe, like it's not ready to eat. For example, no comas ese plátano todavía. Está verde. Don't eat that banana yet. It's not ripe. So with ser, verde describes something as the color green. And with estar, verde means unripe. The next one up is aburrido. It's one of the most useful adjectives on the list, but it's one that learners get wrong all the time. When we pair aburrido with ser to say es aburrido, it means that someone or something is boring. We're describing the character or personality of this person or thing, that it's boring by nature. For example, esa profesora es muy aburrida. That teacher is very boring. But when we pair aburrido with estar to say está aburrido, it means someone is bored. This is describing how someone feels right now, in this moment. For example, el niño está aburrido. The boy is bored. So we could connect those two sentences and say, el niño está aburrido porque su profesora es muy aburrida. The boy is bored because his teacher is very boring. So with ser, aburrido means someone or something is boring. And with estar, aburrido means someone is bored. Now in English, we use two different words, boring and bored. But in Spanish, it's the same adjective. The only thing that changes is the verb that you use it with. That's why it's really important to get this one clear, because the difference isn't in the word aburrido. It's whether you pair it with ser or estar. Now this next adjective, rico, is really interesting as it has several meanings. When rico is paired with ser, as in es rico, it means someone is wealthy. Literally, rico means rich. For example, ese empresario es muy rico. That businessman is very wealthy. But when we pair rico with estar, as in está rico, it means a food or drink is delicious. For example, este arroz está rico. This rice is delicious. Now there's one other cheeky meaning of está rico, and that's to describe the appearance of someone. This is very similar to está bueno. Again, saying está rico about a person means they're very attractive and definitely has strong sexual overtones. Thinking of this crossover between describing food and someone's appearance with the same word, it makes me think of how in English we might say that a particular person is tasty when we're referring to their good looks. So that's one that you definitely would only want to use with good friends. So then, with ser, rico means someone is wealthy. And with estar, rico means something tastes good, or in some contexts, that someone is attractive. So with all of today's examples, the meaning of the adjective changed completely depending on whether you use ser or estar. But here's something that's really interesting. Most Spanish adjectives don't do that. Most of the time, the adjective means the same thing regardless of which verb you pair it with. Take the Spanish adjective delicioso, for example. El café es delicioso. And el café está delicioso. They both literally translate as the coffee is delicious. So that's the same adjective and the same meaning, and yet you can't just pick whichever one you feel like. They're saying something different in Spanish. So if the adjective isn't changing, then what is? Well, that's exactly what this next video is about. You can click the thumbnail that's on screen now to watch it, or you can find the link down in the description below. So, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.